Good afternoon, friends. Sorry for the harsh lighting. It is full sun situation right now. And I'm just going out to peek at the cows because unfortunately, I think that we missed Casey's heat cycle. I've been kind of watching for it. Last year we bred her on August 11th. However, it was really hard to detect her heat last time because there were no other cows with her. And so we ended up doing like a forced cycling. And that gave us a idea of when to breed her. This year, she's had her steer with her during the day to graze. And so I thought that might be helpful because either maybe she would mount him or he would mount her. Well, yesterday I noticed he was being a little bit more aggressively trying to mount her. And then she only gave half that she normally gives at milking time. And she did have a little bit of mucus. So I thought today would maybe be the day, but it doesn't look like she has any signs of heat. She's not been mounted today. She's not been mucusy today. So I'm gonna milk in about an hour and see what she gives. But I'm kind of thinking we might have missed it yesterday. Either that or it was just a really light heat or a weak heat. But this will be the first time I detected anything since she calved like 10.5 weeks ago. So it really should be like her second cycle. Just to look at this beautiful view. All these sunflowers are opening. All the zinnias. It's been a crazy pepper year. I have a ton I have to cut up today. I've been cutting them up for the freezer in different sizes. So I'm gonna dice some really small today just to put into like hash or chili. Yesterday I did a bunch into like stir fry sized, but I need to get out here and harvest these tomatoes because even though my plants look pretty sad, they do have a lot of fruit on them. So I want to make sure I get what I'm going to get from them. But this is just a lovely view right now. Anyways, as far as Casey getting bred back, today is August 10. If we could get her bred today, she would probably calf around the same time next year, which was end of May. And that was really the latest possible preferred time we would want her to calf. Because she gets milk fever, or she has the last 2 calvings. And so it's best to keep her on a really low quality diet before calving. And that means hay and not fresh spring pasture. So last year we had to hold her off of the pasture grass till the end of May, and that was kind of hard because there was plenty for her to graze, and that's very tempting. So if we miss this heat cycle and we can't breed her for another month, that'd be looking at end of June for a calf, which would just be so hard next spring to hold her off that long. So we'll see how things go today, but I almost feel like I might consider just pushing her 5 or 6 months out to have a fall calf that she could graze all next summertime. But I'll have to talk to some more experts about that because I don't want to risk her not getting bred by waiting too long. But I also don't want to feed hay all the way through June. That would really stink. So I haven't given many updates on the farm lately, but the garden is in its typical August state of neglect as I'm busy in preservation mode. I actually cleared this bed out last night and then most of that bed. So my hope is to start clearing out spaces that I've harvested from. That's where my onions and brassicas were, so that I can put in some cover crops. These are all carrots, which we're still picking from. And then I did pull a couple beds over here and put the tarp down at least. Celery is still growing. Green beans I'm letting just go to seed. And all of these sweet potatoes are still gonna grow for a while, but I'll probably just keep this side tarped for a little while and maybe do a second round of carrots and lettuces in them once it's not quite as hot and it's easier to get things to germinate. But it's pretty unruly in here. It is what it is. Well, I just finished milking and I only took 3 gallons. She definitely had her normal 4 though. So that tells me she's not in heat. It had to have been later in the day yesterday and we missed it, which is a bummer. But what can you do?